A desire that we all have while we're here that I can really attest to, and I hear a lot of people talk about, is feeling that you can move through your day relaxed, maybe more balanced, understanding what you're feeling throughout your day. And I know for myself, throughout the years, I call myself a hot, energetic mess at times, and understanding and having tools to work with that have really helped me a lot. So today we're going to talk about a specific tool that Tom and I have been working with for many years. And so I want to welcome Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hello, Teresa.
So this tool I've personally been using for about 7 years now, and Tom's been using for decades, right?
Well, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, decades.
Well, for a while.
Like 20 or 30 years.
I've been aware of it, yes.
so so for myself, as what I call a hot energetic mess through the years, I recognize that there's been oftentimes when even these days, when I get up and, I check the calendar, okay, what day of the month is it? What day of the week is it? I might know some astrology of what's going on, but then I'm like, okay, so what am I really feeling? So what Tom and I work with on a very regular basis, actually every single day, is what I call an energy pattern calendar. It's developed by the Wayshowers College, and the name of it is actually La Familia Nuestra, which means
La Familia Nuestra,
the new family.
the new family. That's Spanish for the new family.
That is Spanish for the new family. And so this calendar has been developed really to assist people in understanding what energy waves come onto the planet that we may be affected by, influenced by every single day. So I'd like to just, so that's what I want to share today. I'm real excited about this because, again, this has helped me really get more in tune with my energy and what's going on in the bigger picture that I am affected and influenced by every day.
Yes, so planet Earth is a school where souls come to learn and grow, and the higher spirit has works with waves of energy to sort of highlight lessons in certain areas of our life. And so there's actually 7 separate categories of bands of energy that are influencing planet Earth at any, given one time, usually one at a time. These right now, for example, as we're recording this podcast, we're in family energy. And so we'll share with you in a little bit, what some of these energy bands are. But, La Familia Nuestra for me is just a tool to help me clarify what's me, what's not me. And we work from the philosophy that, you are already perfect. It's just that we have some concepts and attitudes that, are around planet Earth that we have bought into. And some of those attitudes are that we're not perfect, or that we put pressure on ourselves with some of those ideas. So this is a way to clarify, what concepts work for me, the positive ones, and what doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I like about this too, Tom, is that there's all kinds of tools and keys out in the world, right, guys? All you listeners out there. And so it's really just choosing and picking which ones you resonate with. And the reason why I resonated with this one so dearly to my heart is because it's simple. It's not complicated. And I really could feel the different energy bands and waves of energy, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes here, and how I am again influenced by them. So how have you noticed in your life, Tom, that this calendar and tool has benefited you?
One of the key areas is that helps me do the right thing at the right time, when the energy is there. So, for example, when it's action energy, I know that's a time to just work with that momentum. Usually on those days, it's easy to get a lot of things done that it might have been piling up, or answers come, business comes towards me. And in contrast, there's times like when family energy is around, there's not as much positive pressure to move forward. It's more of a time of, people group together, a feeling of kinship with people united for a common goal. As in business, the larger family of mankind can stimulate feelings. And so I had an experience, in fact, just yesterday, because we were in family energy, where I had some goals, but my energy was a little low, and I felt like I got stimulated. Um, and I wondered, at first, like, why am I all of a sudden so tired? And it's funny because a few family members had reached out to me about a couple of issues, and I went, oh, wow, I must have a concept around this because it's affecting my energy. So that was a way that I began to realize that, there was an influence, because in family energy, I should honestly, if I'm the real me, or my true self is feeling, united with others. And even in business, feeling that family kind of feeling, like we're all here together with a common goal. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's go through the energies, and then I'd like to share what energy is going to be on the planet when we release this. So whenever you guys listen to this on the specific day, which will actually be June 25th, 2024, that's when most people listen to it. Some people might listen to it later down the road, but on that day, it's going to be what we call orientation energy. So as we go through these, you can just get a flavor and get a feel for the energies. And then we'll, again, touch base a little bit on the orientation energies so that you can get a kind of tune into that day and, okay, well, how does this energy feel for myself? Knowing what you know from what we're sharing. So let's start with the different energies, Tom, and want to go from one range to the other.
Sure. So there's the energy accelerates, you might say, from the order that we're going to read it in, and we're going to read family, friendships, regrouping hour, orientation, direction, ambition, and action. And you don't have to memorize those things, but from family through to action, there's an accelerating energy is a really good way to say it. So what we'd like to share is that part of mastering yourself includes mastering your energy and understanding the impact of those we live and work with. There are 7 distinct energy bands or frequencies moving through the planet at any given time. They are separately named and color-coded for easy identification. Everyone is experiencing these energies at one level or another, whether they realize it or not. By aligning yourself with this positive energy, you can accomplish more with less effort.
So I think the main thing I want to share about that is that, again, there's all kinds of tools out there, and people talk about, the energy of like the planets for astrology, right? And so these really came down from spirit. And this again was developed a couple decades ago from the founder, Dr. Francisco Cole at the Way Shores College. And there's a group of people that come together every year, and they tune into what energies on specific days are coming onto the planet, which are flowing in. And so this to me, like, even just saying that, like a group of people get together and and they find out which energies are coming in, but
they check with spirit. They know how to check with their guidance.
They check with guides, they check with spirit. But I'm telling you, this calendar for myself has been so accurate with what I'm feeling for the last 7 years. It's been pretty amazing. So that's why I'm excited to share this with you guys.
Yeah, and you get it. You can purchase these calendars after September. The new one comes out in the new spiritual year. But what's great about it is it gives you a heads up. It gives you advance notice of the energies that are you're going to be working with later in the year or later in the week.
Right. So let's go through the energies. Okay. So first off, we started with family energy. How about I read a couple and you read a couple?
Sure.
Okay. So family energy, again, which is the energy that we're actually taping this in, recording this in. So for me, family energy is really about the feeling of uniting for a common goal. Like Tom and I are doing this podcast to share with you listeners out in the world and to collaborate with that energy of, being of service. So that to me is a real good example of family energy. The next energy after that is what we call friendship energy. And during friendship energy, there's a sense of a feeling of belonging, a feeling of wanting to maybe help a friend, a feeling of doing or wanting to back someone through actions. And I noticed for myself, when friendship energy is on the planet, I swear people are nicer. Have you noticed this, Tom?
Yeah, I've noticed things like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Or that I might be talking to a business colleague and I just feel a kinship or a friendship with them. And
It just feels
there's just
lighter.
something. And so one would say, well, how do I apply that? I always, talk about business because it's a focus for me. How do I apply that in life? And, that's a day where if I'm visiting with a client or I'm talking to a colleague, where there's just more of a relaxed, it seems like the relaxed opportunities show up for some reason to have a cup of coffee or to just discuss something that they're interested in, getting to know people. And then that usually helps me later in my business opportunities, when we're setting direction, for example, in the business. I feel a friendship, with that person. So that's one way I've experienced it. Regrouping our, regrouping our, a time of consolidation and putting things together before moving on, finding exactly where you are so you know where you're going, learning or gaining insight through your experiences. And one of the things that occurs to me on that is that often people think, oh, it's time to, meditate and regroup. True. But sometimes regrouping for me is like, I'm working on a physical project outside, like something that really requires consistent effort and energy, something that I don't normally do. Like I don't put in pheasant pose very often, for example. But whilst I'm in action and it's funny, ideas will come to me as to what an experience was about. I interpret, my involvement in an experience.
Yeah, the putting things together before moving on. I think that's kind of what I hear you saying is that and I've noticed that also, like I have to it's a time, I don't have to do anything, right? Okay. But it is a time during regrouping energy where I can look at kind of like where I've been, what I've put together for myself. And it's like you're saying, even in action, like, as I'm moving through my day of working and doing things, I can recognize, okay, well, how, where am I at with that project, or how do I want to move forward with things? So it's really a time of just, for myself, of that consolidation of just really recognizing where things are at. So that's regrouping.
I also notice that when I don't regroup, if I don't take a moment to, accept those insights as they come or evaluate what's working or what's not working, I lose my enthusiasm. If I do regroup, I find that all of a sudden the next day, I'm ready to get into action again and I feel highly motivated. Mm. So for me, it's a little bit of a flag that when I've lost my motivation or enthusiasm, my energy, it feels like it's hard work, everything I'm doing, that I need to regroup something. So that particular time frame, over those days, you're going to be doing other things, but you'll find ways you experience it.
Yeah, and the next energy is what we call orientation, and that may be exactly what it sounds like. It's a time of knowing where you're going, feeling the newness of a situation, finding out where you are, understanding your directions, and getting the facts organized. And it is a slower energy when you're first moving into a new situation. So I really enjoy orientation energy because it gives me the sense of new. And, like, okay, there's some new things going on, or there's some new things surfacing. What about you, Tom?
Yeah, I think what strikes me about that is it's a time of knowing where I am going. So I usually feel secure with my direction. I need to know where I'm going, but it does feel new. And when I've noticed that there'll be the day, say that some new class starts or school starts or a new job starts. And all of a sudden I look at the calendar and I go, oh my God, my first few days at work are orientation energy. Isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. So, how I stay relaxed with that is that as I am getting oriented to the new scenario or my new situation or new friends or new whatever, I stay relaxed because I go, oh, that's right. I'm going to feel the newness of this. So it's important that I stay relaxed and really am clear about what are the facts? What do I need to do next? Getting it organized. And I have found it slower when I'm moving into a new situation. Right. If I'm not moving into a new situation, I don't notice it as much. It's kind of a thing. Direction. This energy focuses on where you are going. It could be physical or spiritual. That's an important point. It could be physical or spiritual. Knowing where you are going before you begin is important during this time. In leadership, it is a time to sense in what direction you are leading people. So what does that mean to you, Teresa?
Yeah, well, for myself, it's really that momentum of moving forward, of making the steps and the things I've been doing to really get it going into something. So, and again, I really want to emphasize with this calendar and this sharing that we're doing today, this is just really, it's about making spirituality practical, which Tom and I are all about. So, and understanding, energy, no matter how it looks or doesn't look, right? Because you can't see energy, but you can feel energy. And so by making it practical, and for myself in direction energy, it gives me that, again, that momentum to actually accomplish what I've come to do, whether it be spiritual or physical. How about you, Tom?
Well, it's one of my favorite energies, you might say. I feel comfortable when there's direction energy in play. And there's so much, we're beginning to accelerate the energy. We've come down the list to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's only 2 more to go. So, if I'm I have good direction, or I'm moving along in that energy, it's important that I know where I'm leading, because I can find myself really far down the road, you might say, with a project or something, and go, oh, wait a minute, we're heading off in the wrong direction. So I love it. I mean, I think most of us, we're raised in an environment here in the States and on planet Earth where we like having direction. We like moving with direction. We like getting things accomplished. It's part of our achievement, as part of our culture. So, I resonate a lot with direction energy.
Yeah. So the next energy after direction is what we call ambition energy. And this energy focuses on your wants and inner desires. It is a strong feeling of commitment towards a direction, something you want with sincerity. It's a time to do more with what you have, and future ideas can appear. So I really love ambition energy, because ambition energy, it kind of, to me, it backs my spiritual thrust, which is the follow through my heart's desires.
Ooh,
So how
yeah.
about that one?
Mhm.
So I can really, really move through with a lot of things, and momentum with it. Well, there's that word again, momentum, with ambition energy. But I really like ambition energy a lot. What about you, Tom?
Well, what strikes me about that is something that I want with sincerity. Because if I'm moving from others' desires, which I think I want, but because mama or papa wanted that, or somebody around me stimulates that, then I really have to tune into what are my inner desires and inner wants. And really, the soul moves by desire. So I know we've talked a lot about that. It's more fun and I feel better, and things are more positive when I work from what do I desire, rather than putting pressure on myself as to what I should do or shouldn't do, or, that kind of thing, or what my pain points are. If I'm working more from the positive of what I desire, and I truly desire it, I find there's a lot of motivation in that. And then my enthusiasm's high, so I really enjoy things. It's funny that we do this show called Enthusiastically Spiritual, but I keep coming back to, when I'm in balance and positive and aware of these energies, I notice that, like, that's a big flag. If my enthusiasm wanes a bit, it means I'm not clear about something, so, but we've been sort of taught that we're supposed to, suffer through everything.
Right.
And really, if you can refocus to what your inner wants and desires are, it's, I've often thought, if I really want something, if I have that inner desire, it's amazing. Nothing stops me from getting it. Nothing stops me from accomplishing it. It's only when my wants and inner desires come from just my intellect, or my, first 7 years, my programming or other people's ideas, that I can be moved easily, off track from those desires.
I like what you
That's
said.
how I experienced it.
Yeah, I like what you said, especially around enthusiasm, and that, there's so many people sharing in different realms around shadow stuff, and around, again, like the trauma and relationship stuff, and it's all, there's a place for all of it. But for what we're sharing, it's really about those desires and stepping into more of that enthusiastic self and that enthusiastic inner soul that you have within you to access. And again, there's layers, there's, peeling back the onion. So that's for other people and other work in different realms. But for what we're doing, it's really about helping you become and feel more enthusiastic to live through your days day to day, because there's a lot going on while we're here.
Yeah. And, we're already perfect. Boy, that's a weird one, huh? How many people think they're already perfect?
Right.
You already have all the answers within. We've just accepted concepts that don't work for us, or attitudes or pressure. Really, we've accepted pressure to, move off our true feelings. And with this tool, you can help uncover where you've accepted pressure. And we do that in kind of a subconscious, unconscious way.
Right.
It's like I said about family the other day. It's like something was sort of bugging me. I had lost a bit of enthusiasm for the day. And then I realized, I must have a concept around family members. And, to be fair, there's a little bit of, oh my God, the burden of my family, and, which is not true. It's just a game. But if I moved more from, my solution was to really tune into the love and the perspective of, well, that person just needs to, go through this, look beyond the symptom, or the and tune into where that loving, from a loving vibration, where the spiritual need is. That doesn't mean I don't have boundaries. I'm going to maintain my boundaries. But with ambition, the other thing that strikes me is that there's times where one might say, and I know I've said this, I don't know what I want. What do I really want? I don't know. And if I'm in the middle of regrouping or friendships or direction, it's probably not. I'm not going to get I'm already in a different energy. So it's going to be more apparent. You can always, tune into what you want at different times, but it's a real time to recheck. You might say, what's coming to me is it's a time to really recheck. Is that my sincere want? Or that's the energy to do that in.
Right. Perfect. And so then rounding out the different 7 waves or of energy that come onto the planet is action energy. So you want to share about that one, Tom?
Action. Another one of my favorites. I often say it's my favorite because things happen, people make decisions. Business comes in, contacts happen, all kinds of, I always talk from that business perspective, but it seems like accomplishment happens. So this energy is directed and moving. It can also be a time to be alert, because through action, you are successful. By being focused on your direction, you can move through the challenges and accomplish the fulfillment of tremendous success.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites too. And it's interesting because I'm already a pretty fast person. I don't hold back too much. I'm kind of like a go-getter person. And so during action, though, sometimes it's physical. Sometimes I get like a crap load of stuff done. But then sometimes also it's action in, say, my spiritual. Like I might be more tuned in, or might be more able to get the downloads or the things coming through that I need to move with, that
Insights.
some insights and support. Absolutely. So I find it quite interesting, the different areas. And of course, all of these energies, you can use them in the physical and the spiritual. They come in through different ways. So it's just, giving you some
we
insights.
have physical opportunity to, grow spiritually.
Right, exactly.
But when you were talking about, being successful, and, if you find yourself, feeling a bit lazy during action energy or wanting to sleep, that's usually a sign that there's a little bit of a fear of success. So again, we don't like to talk about it from the point of view of like, oh, you have a fear and negativity. It's more like, oh, wow, I must have a concept in that area. I wonder what that is. Or let me regroup and tune into those answers within myself, or work with some tools or some folks who can help you do your 50% so you can uncover what's holding you back from what you really want and need.
Right, exactly, Tom. So all of these energies, each of these energies will influence you differently based on your own unique energy patterns, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
By discerning and being aware of your experiences through each energy unit, you can better understand how it deals with with how to deal with it as it flows through again. And that's been something I've learned over the years too, in working with these, is that I know that, the friendship energy feels a certain way. So when I see it coming up on the month ahead, I'm like, okay, I have already have a recollection in my memory bank and in my being of what that feels like. So I have a kind of an intuition about what's kind of, going to be maybe, I felt through that time for sure.
Yeah. And what strikes me, about having my own answers and my true nature is that, every day is an opportunity for me to tune into those answers. And that's what I love about this, is that this is a bit of a guide for me to, Spirit's done their 50%. They've given us an idea, they've given us a clear information as to what you might say is being highlighted at the school of planet Earth that particular week. And so it's just wonderful to be able to ask myself, no, so how can I work with orientation positively? I'm anxious for some orders, so I want action energy to be happening. Well, what is it there that I can work with? And usually different things, hit me at different times. So, but if I don't do my 50%, I can't, I'm not going to grow. It's important that I learn, but that I also grow by, turning that into wisdom through experience.
Interesting. Okay. So, I just want to talk a little about that growing thing, because I truly believe for myself that everyone's growing. Everyone's in different places. I guess the way I would say that is that it gives me more of an understanding of what I'm growing through.
Right.
That just came through me.
Yeah.
I got chills on that one.
Give you some clues. But
Absolutely.
I'm like, when I felt funky in family energy, I have to sit down and regroup a bit with my guidance. And because it's going to hit me a little differently. That's why, when we look at astrology and some of these things, it really depends on the individual. They're just energy patterns. It's just influences. So I can either ride the wave of energy. Right now we're in family, so I need to, if I'm on that wave, I can move through that smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, so
there we go.
We want to share that these calendars do come out in a form of every single month. So what we believe, and we've been working with several years now, the spiritual year is September through August. So these calendars come out the beginning of every September. They have a theme of them for the entire year, an overall concept that's influencing our whole year. And we'll talk about that in a minute, of what we're currently in. And then each month has a theme of the month, and also some keywords that go along with that theme of the month, which can kind of give you also an overall influence of what the feeling of the whole month is going to be. And throughout these months, the exciting thing I'm excited about with this is that starting in July of 2024, we're coming together in a collaboration with Chiron Yeng, who is we call our in-house evolutionary astrologer and heart quest expertise and expertise in that. And we're going to come together beginning of each month and share about the astrology of the month ahead, as well as using these energies of what energy are we working with during different transits of the month. So it's super exciting. And we just recently recorded the first episode for July. And I think you guys are really going to like it, because it's very insightful and has got a lot of good stuff in it, right, Tom?
Yeah, we're going to explore the correlation between astrology and the La Familia Nuestra energy calendars.
Yeah. So what else do you want to say about the calendars, Tom? Because they're pretty awesome.
Well, the main thing is, by aligning yourself with the positive energy of that energy, bandwidth or band, you can accomplish more with less effort. And I'm all for accomplishing more with less effort.
I'm all about keeping it simple, man.
Yeah,
keep it spiritually simple, because there is so much stuff out there. And so we thank you all so much for listening to this episode. And we hope that you might have gotten some insights about a different tool that you might want to check out. And if you want to check it out, you can check out the link in our show notes, because We work directly with the Wayshores College. It will take you to their site because we're an affiliate. So that is who we get the calendars from. And like I said, we've been working with them for quite a while now. And they are just really amazing. So if you want to check that out, that'll be in the show notes.
Yeah. I've always been shocked at some of the there's a little bit more than the energy bands that are available, some symbols and some concepts to work with and so forth, which
there's different levels.
We can cover later. And we're looking at doing a master class and giving people a better orientation at that. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll do one of those probably late August, and that'll give you, because there's different levels. So we're really just talking about level 1, which is just the energy and just the overall aspect of those 7 bands of energy that come onto the planet.
Yeah, which is a great place to get started.
It's a good place to get started.
So
thank you all again so much for listening or watching on our YouTube channel. Another episode of Enthusiastically Spiritual. We appreciate you so very much. We hope you enjoyed this
Follow
episode.
the show links below, or the show notes, the links below.
Yeah. And what else do you want to say, Tom?
Well, remember
that
life is too short
to not be enthusiastic about
your
unique journey. To keep the enthusiasm going, please like, subscribe, or comment below. We would love to hear from you.